Hello, everybody in YouTube land. Well, let me just get into this. This is what we call in YouTube land a rant. And anybody who actually subscribes to my channel, I don't know if that's anybody at all. But like I said in my first Point Break remake kind of opinion, and my opinion on Expendables 3, I just found out today that Expendables 3 is going to be rated PG-13. Like I said, I knew that it was going to be a sellout. I knew they were going to sell out on this one because, matter of fact, let me start off with a Mel Gibson quote. Smile and blow me, and what are you looking at, sugar tits? Oh my God, man. I knew they would do. I'm sorry. I cannot say this without being angry, because when Stallone made the first one back in 2010, or when they were filming it in 2009, he said, I want this to be an homage to 80s action pictures. And he gave this BS statement that I heard where he said something about we want to take it into the next generation. First of all, let me tell you something. And I've said in previous videos, in those two other videos, I said, I'm 32 years old. I was born in 1981. I grew up on Commando, Donna Dragon Wilson, Dolph Lundgren, Jeff Speakman, Arnold, all those guys, all the theatrical, Chuck Norris, Delta Force, straight to video, Hero in the Terror. I grew up on the Cannon movies, the big budget. I grew up on all those 80s action pictures, whether they be straight to video, cable, early 90s, whatever. My nephew was born in 1996. He's, I think, 19, or he might be 20 now. So he's part of that next generation, right? I've talked to him. He's never heard of the Delta Force. He's never heard of American Ninja. He's never heard of even Raw Deal with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's never heard of Red Sonja. He never even heard of Cobra. My point being is that when I hear that, I'm sorry, my father told me in previous videos he wants me to soften it, but I have to curse because I think it's bullshit. Okay? How you gonna take something for people who are in their 40s and 30s who grew up on these movies and repackage it and water it down for a bunch of little kiddies who didn't even grow up in that era? These kids did not grow up in that era. I talked with someone who's 20 and thought that the one-liners and the shoot-em-up, kill-em-ups of the 80s and early 90s was corny. And this is who Stallone and the producers are trying to market it for. That mind frame in itself tells me, Sly, either cut the Expendables 3 and squash it, or make it hardcore. I'm sorry. I cannot. I don't like this, and I don't care when they say, well, we can make it PG-13 and make it hard. No, you can't. And I don't care if people say you can look at The Dark Knight, you can look at the Bourne movies, you can look at Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, the RoboCop remake. That's one they'll try. Newsflash, people, RoboCop remake is a money grab, cash grubbing whore that wants to feed off of a spectacular movie from 1987. It's got some okay stuff in it, but it should have just been some other robot movie. They had to make RoboCop, and it bombed, and I'm happy it bombed. Bourne movies are of its time. I like, in particular, the second, the third, and the fourth movie. They're cool. The first one was okay. The Mission Impossible movies, good action scenes, mediocre flicks. The third one is good. The fourth one is a genuine great one. A good movie. The Expendables is not that. The Expendables has Harrison Ford, who did Indiana Jones. He came from kind of PG-13 actioners, but Harrison Ford is still from the era of genuine action picture. Stallone, Arnold, Wesley, Dolph Lundgren, and then Mel Gibson, who is cracked out of his skull, Martin Riggs. How can you have all of these guys and you put them, and even Jet Li. Jet Li is younger, but Jet Li made hardcore action pictures over in Asia, and you turn them into PG-13. I'm sorry, I don't want to hear it. This, Mickey Rourke said it, and I saw multiple interviews with Mickey Rourke where he talked about how Hollywood is a business. It's a business. It's a business. They don't, in Mickey Rourke's words, they don't give a fuck. It's a business. It's a business. This is tried and true. I don't want to hear Stallone come up with this BS. We want to take it into the next generation. None of these kids grew up on the cable movies of the 80s. They didn't go to the video. They don't even know what a video store is. They don't know what a cable box is. They don't care, Sly. They don't care. I don't care what you guys at Lionsgate say. You guys are jerking us off with no lotion and giving us Indian burn. That's exactly what you guys are doing. I don't want to hear it, man. I'm angry about this. How do you make Wesley Snipes, who has classic one-liners from Passenger 57, Demolition Man, Sit Your $5 ass down before I make change from New Jack City. You got all these people who made hardcore action pictures in the 80s and early 90s, and you make it PG-13? I'm sorry. We need to look at 48 Hours 1 and 2. Let's look at The Last Boy Scout. Let's look at Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, and what the hell, even 3 and 4. You can even look at Face Off of The Rock, which came later on in the 90s. I mean, Showdown in Little Tokyo, The Punisher. I mean, I don't want to hear it, man. Cliffhanger. Hardcore action. The Crow, which is kind of a comic book and action picture. Or even Rapid Fire. I mean, the Delta Force, Hero and Terror, which I mentioned. Oh my God. I mean, I'll even say Firewalker with Chuck Norris and Louis Gossett Jr. is going to be more. I don't want to hear it. This cannot be a hardcore action picture. If you can't let Mel Gibson go full out Rigmo, I'm sorry. I don't want to hear this crap. It needs to be MFs. It needs to be motherfuckers. It needs to be a politically incorrect, hardcore, dark action picture. Take a look at Die Hard 2. I know and there is no Die Hard 5, there is no Die Hard 4, in my humble opinion. I hate those two movies, and I even hate Live Free or Die Hard. I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, it's good, it's good. No, it's not. It's lame, it's corny. There's only one part in it life. No, excuse me, two parts I like in it. Retract. There's 3 action sequences I like. I like the action sequence where they attack Justin Long's apartment. I like the scene where Bruce Willis drives the police car into the helicopter. And I like the part where Bruce Willis fought Maggie Q. That's it. Everything else sucks. I don't want to hear anything that you all have to say. If Sly is going to make an homage to 80s action pictures, he needs to cater to the people who are of that age when those movies were coming out. You know, so now you're going to... I mean, they're just people who never even heard of Cyborg with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Lionheart, Death Warrant. These people have never heard of these movies. I don't want to hear this trash. This is a disgrace. You take all these guys who have done these great action pictures and you make it PG-13, and it's for money. Hollywood is a business, and Mickey Rourke said it better than anybody. They're a bunch of pussies. And Mickey Rourke was right. It's business. They don't care about the fans. You telling me you're going to care about some kid who was born in 1996 and 97 and they didn't even grow up in the Reagan era? Are you kidding me? And you're going to make the movie for them before you make the movie for somebody like me who's in my 30s and people in their 40s who supported you guys? These guys think you're just a bunch of old dudes. All of us who grew up on your movies, we were there for the first Expendables. And then we were there for number 2. And now you're going to make it PG-13? I don't even want Expendables 3. Expendables 3 can take it and shove it up the derriere. Oh my God, man. This disgusts me to a whole nother level. This shows me that there are no balls left. You cannot make an action picture like 48 Hours 1 and 2 or Last Boy Scout or Lethal Weapon or the original Point Break, which I don't even. Oh my god, I'm so frustrated, man. I really hate this. I do not want to see Expendables 3. I was hanging in there for hope. Wesley Snipes ain't gonna be able to cut loose. Mel Gibson ain't gonna be able to say, "What are you looking at, sugar tits?" There's not gonna be any, Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't gonna say, "Fuck you, asshole." They're not gonna do it. Oh, he might say, "Get to the chopper," but come on, we want to feel the dirt and the grime, the misogynistic, the politically incorrect, just gung-ho, nasty attitude of 80s and 90s action pictures. This is a sin, man. Shame on all you guys, man. This is not an homage to 80s action pictures. This is a whore on the street corner and sliding down the pole. That's exactly what it is. They don't care about the fans. I'm so aggravated. Expendables 3 is going to be PG-13. I'm disgusted, man. I'm just disgusted. I don't have anything else to say. Please, if anybody comment on my channel, we can debate about this. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm disgusted. If you're going to make a picture that's an homage to a certain era, it has to be of that tone. As much as I'm not a fan of some of these guys who are trying to redo horror pictures, who are trying to emulate horror pictures from the 80s and the 70s, I will give those guys credit that they're making them hard and they're making them raw. If not harder than some of those 80s horror movies. They're trying to make it of that era. Like Devil's Rejects, Rob Zombie. I love Devil's Rejects. I hate House of a Thousand Corpses, but I love Devil's Rejects. And there's a lot of people who don't like that film, and then there's a lot of people who appreciate Devil's Rejects. I appreciate what Rob Zombie was trying to do. Rob Zombie had the balls to say, I'm going to go to Last House on the Left. I'm going to go to Hills Have Eyes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm going to grab you by the throat, and I'm going to be sick and twisted and say the hell with everybody else and just go for it, man. They're selling out with Expendables 3. Give me Last Boy Scout, Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, Point Break, 48 Hours. Oh, man. I'm sorry, man. This sucks. I will not go see Expendables 3 when it comes out. It's just going to waste everybody's time. How is it? I saw Dolph Lundgren in Cannes. He said it's going to be darker. How can it be dark? And please do not anybody say anything about the Dark Knight or the Dark Knight Rises. That's Batman for the 2000 era. This is not an homage to 80s act. How can you be dark and gritty in PG-13? You don't have Die Hard 2, the icicle to the eye. You don't have Point Break with the naked girl stabbing FBI agents. You don't have Lethal Weapon with Danny Glover saying all dressed up and no one to blow. Or when Damon Wayans says in Last Boy Scout, you got a nice build, and Bruce Willis says, what are you, a fag? You don't, man, pussy action pictures, people. I don't want to hear it. We can debate all day. We can talk about this. I ain't got nothing else to say, man.